Welcome to another special edition of the Sacramento Dugout Show.
We have a special guest, one of the coaches of the Sacramento Imps, Zack Kalish. How you doing, Zack?
Good. How are you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, this is interesting because all three of us here are all a part of the Sacramento Imps.
Yeah.
You was one of the very first players back in 2012. So I want to ask you, now that you're got the coach's hat on, coach's shirt on, what is your biggest adjustment from just in the playing and now coaching?
Biggest adjustment from actually being on the field to coaching is kind of having to reel everything in. You know, as a player, former player, you kind of want to be able to just go out there and
Do it.
You know, if something's going wrong, you want to be able to kind of get more hands-on, more involved. And coaching, you kind of got to take a little bit of the emotion out of it. It's still the emotion's there, but it's a little different from when you're on the field, the emotion there, to being able to transfer that into coaching, to be able to be constructive and, you know, actually help the guys and not bring the energy down at all, or, you know, come down on yourself to where they'll pick up on that. I think that's the biggest change.
Can you give us some little foresight of the group of guys we have this year? Are we looking like a character group of players, or what type of M's players we have, since you're right in the crux of things?
We got some really good guys, honestly. There's a lot of guys right out of high school, a lot of young guys. So we got a young team that we can keep for a few years, which would be really good because they're all really developing in their game.
Nice.
A few guys are at some big schools. So we've got some talent out there. But overall, as a group, I think the only word that would describe us would be scrappy because, you know, nobody has really played together. You know, a lot of these teams, they've played together for a couple years, at least in the summer, or, you know, they get a lot of guys from different colleges that are all together for a few years. So there's good chemistry right out the gate.
Yeah, I bet that's a lot harder with a younger group, because I know when we were first starting with the M's, that was, you know, one of the bigger hurdles to try to jump over. And now that there is a younger group and you're going to be able to coach them, and it must give you some sort of relaxing moments, knowing that, okay, I know how hard we got to work extremely hard this year and next year, but at least it's going to start getting easier and they're going to start understanding your coaching philosophies.
Yeah, definitely. And the guys are really good about it. We don't have anybody who's actually like trying to go against it or trying to do their own thing. You know, guys got their own schedule during the summer. It's tough. They're from all different areas. They've got jobs. They've got their old college or school that they're committed to still. And so they're working with us to make sure we got a solid squad every game. But it is exciting to know that, you know, these guys are slowly starting to come together just even as the weeks go on. And, you know, they start hanging out a little bit outside of the field. It starts transferring onto the field. There's a little bit more talk. They're kind of creating those bonds that make a good team.
That's good because, you know, the first couple of years, some of we didn't practice as much, but games seemed to be pretty quiet. Everybody would show up in their own little nicks and their own little groups. They'd get their spots in the dugout, and they had always stuck together. But, you know, the one thing as a coach, I kept looking to see when is it going to be one dugout, and it seemed like towards the end of every year, everybody would start to come together. Where are we at right now, since we're only into it?
They're starting to come together already pretty quick, honestly, because they're all from the Sacramento area, so a lot of them do have the experience of playing against each other. Right. So the faces are familiar. I think that was our biggest struggle in 2012, 2013. We didn't have a lot of familiar faces, so we were all trying to learn each other, learn everybody's personality, like, okay, how's this person going to react if I get on them a little bit, if I think they're not hustling or whatever it might be. But these guys they keep it pretty loose, but they still get on each other to keep everybody accountable. That
was my next question. I know Dominic had his only difficulty was he was so close in age with the players.
Yeah.
You know, here he is a coach trying to instruct, trying to inform, trying to get them motivated, trying to get them to do what we need to do. And some would do it, some would give them a hard time, some would shrug it off and go at their own pace. Hopefully you're not having that problem because you're pretty close to some of their ages.
Yeah, we don't have too much of a problem. Coach Fitz is only, Tim Fitzgerald, the head coach, he's only a couple years older than me. So, you know, it's good in a sense because the guys feel like they can relate to you almost on a friend level. So it helps the comfort level in the dugout go well. But I think there's a lot more young coaches coming out in the college scene, so it makes it easier for guys like us who are getting into it in the summer who are closer to their age. So there's still that distinction, you know. It's not so much anymore where you see the guys who are the age of your dad or older who are the coaches all the time. It's getting more integrated because a lot more of us are done with our careers and trying to get more involved. So we don't have too much revolt, I guess would be a way to say it. there's always going to be.
They're at that age where they still want that direction.
Yeah, exactly. But there's always going to
Good.
be a little bit of hesitation because they don't know you.
Right.
You don't have just a pedigree that you can walk around with and go, here's my numbers, here's what you can look at. But, they know they're out there to get reps, and they know we're not there to work against them. So.
Any personal coaching goals for you for this summer that you'd like to see manifest?
Personal coaching goals, I would just say I want to get more well-rounded, know a little bit more about coaching. I've only had one summer season before this as a coach, and it was also an assistant capacity, but like I've said before, it was with younger guys. It was with 15, 16-year-olds. So there was a lot more, like you were saying, that age range difference. So it's a little bit easier to instruct those guys. So I want to be able to pick up more of that leadership role and how to help people and be more of that distinction of I'm not just your buddy that we're around the same age. Like I'm here to be your coach, so you can look for me for guidance. Like I've been through what you're going through right now.
Yeah, it's like circle of life, man. I just remember back in 2012, little chubby,
yeah,
little beard, coming straight out of college, getting to play, and now you're coaching. So it's like real proud of you of as a grown man of what you become and how you're like giving back to baseball and coming back to this program. So I want to say thank you for being our coach. Thank you for being a part of this program.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the opportunity. It's definitely a pride for me being able to say I was on that first team, and now that I get to coach some better teams and because they got more talent than we had in 2012. I can honestly say that.
Well,
These guys do.
Structure is getting there, and I think it's just a manifestation. Year by year, trying to get better and better.
It's just going to keep growing, and I'm excited to see what comes.
Yeah. So we'll be right back with more Sacramento Dugout.